What's happening, guys? It's Brian Alsruhe, NeverSay.com, and welcome to part 2 of So You Want to Open a Gym. In part 1, we talked all about why I chose to go with a class structure as opposed to the traditional open gym style and how I recruit people to come to my gym. In this part 2, what I want to do is go through a couple of your questions and just kind of rapid fire them, as rapid fire as I get. But I do want to knock out a bunch of your questions. If you have not seen part 1, you can find a link to that above, but there is a lot of information to get through, so let's go ahead and get after it. All right, first question. How has your vision, strategy, and priorities changed since day one until now? Well, when I opened the gym, I thought there were a lot of people who thought the same way that I did and wanted to live the same way that I did, but as it turns out, like I mentioned in the last video, a lot of people just want to be petted and stay comfortable. A lot of people want a pill that they can take that's going to cure cancer, give them gains. They want 8-minute abs. They don't want to work hard. So that has not really been the case. But since the actual physical gym has not been quite as lucrative as I would have hoped it would be, I had to start looking for other revenue streams to help supplement my income. That's when I jumped onto YouTube. And although I'm only making like $3 a day, hopefully that grows and will eventually become a supplemental income. And I also started doing online personal training and online personalized programs. As it stands today, that's where the majority of the gym's income comes from. So thank you. But once I decided to open my services to literally the entire world, that definitely upped my client base as opposed to just the people in a 10-mile radius around my actual physical gym. So that is definitely the biggest way that I changed gears from when I originally started. Like I said, I expected a lot different result, but it just hasn't been the case, so I had to change gears a little bit. Now the physical gym is my baby. That is what I absolutely love to do, and I do love doing the online personal training and the online programs, and I absolutely love making YouTube videos, but that is kind of where everything is kind of turning towards. Thank you very much for your question. I hope that helps. All right, next question. How important do you find certifications? I don't. Not very important at all. I mean, they're important for the fact that you kind of need them just as a CYA so that if you do hurt somebody, you can blame somebody else. But in all reality, I have not used one thing from any certification I have ever gotten. The absolute best trainers in the world get the majority of their information from either up-to-date websites or their own anecdotal experience. Everyone just looks back on what has worked for them. They have a long history of treating their body as a lab. They know what works, what doesn't work, and they try to share that with people. Almost no one goes to a certification program and walks out and says, yes, now I know what to do. That's not really how it works. Yes, technically you could go get a job at any gym in the world if you have that little piece of paper from the weekend course saying, I'm a certified personal trainer. That and $1 will get you a cup of coffee. But once they have that magical little piece of paper, they start experimenting. They experiment with themselves, they experiment with clients. Getting your information from a certification is almost like getting stem cell research from a 1990 textbook. Yes, they may have the basics down, but this industry is moving too fast. The technology is moving too fast. We know things now that 10 years ago were myth. Then again, if you've been around this industry for any amount of time, you'll know that it is completely cyclical. The things that are completely irrelevant from 20 years ago are the new fad, and things that are big right now are going to be completely thrown out until about 20 years from now when they all come back again. But you can always trust in the basics, and you learn the basics by testing your own body and testing on your clients and figuring out what works and what doesn't. But one of the things that drives me absolutely insane is when I hear a trainer talking to a soccer mom and saying, well, this works your sternocleidomastoid. Why are you saying that? You're only saying that for yourself. You're trying to convince an individual that you know what you're talking about when she has absolutely no idea what you're talking about. Using that type of vernacular and using big words just to try to make yourself sound smart makes you look like an idiot. So when I read through posts and I see people say, oh, my vastus intermedialis really gets hit on front squats. Your legs, your quads, how about that? Just tell them the front of your leg. To me, true intelligence is being able to take a complex subject and break it down into simple enough things that the average person can understand. That is never more important than in personal training or in coaching. If you're talking to another person who's involved in the industry and you want to use that speak, go right ahead, because at least they know what you're talking about. But when you're actually working with people, they want to know the why and the how. They don't need to know the scientific medical terms. To me, that's what a certification pretty much did. It gave me enough information to make me sound like an idiot and a jerk to everyone around me. But everything that I use in my programming and my athletes' programming is coming from 23 years spent under a bar, figuring out what's gonna hurt me, what's gonna work, and what's not gonna work. I hope that helps. Question number 3, how did you handle marketing? Well, when I first started out, I made the website and I thought people were gonna flock to it. They didn't. Then I had some really nice cards and flyers made up and thought people would flock to that. They didn't. So then I contacted local businesses and high schools and places where they might involve lifting. I tried talking to Home Depot and told them that I would give free seminars to people who have to move lumber around so they could save their backs, and it would lower their insurance costs and lower their rate of injury on the job. Not a word. So then I decided to go against everything that I stood for and jumped on social media. Now I know some of you have been around for a very long time and you will know that I kept a log on T Nation and I showed my lifts on YouTube. I did not have Facebook, I did not have an Instagram, and I had no interest in getting them, but it's kind of necessary. So for me personally, the biggest marketing tool that I have had has been this YouTube channel. It was probably a little less than a year ago that I actually turned the camera on my face and started speaking to it. And once that happened, my channel started growing. It didn't matter if I was power cleaning 900 pounds, no one cared. The second that I turned the camera on myself and started speaking to the individual, people started paying attention. And then while this was growing, people started paying attention to my gym. They started going to my website. They started looking into my training, and that just kind of started bringing people into the gym. This has been the number one thing for marketing for me. And if you really think about it, that's completely where the industry has gone. The bigger your social media footprint, the more people believe that you are good. That is not necessarily true, but it's a reality. Now, I'm kind of an old man, but when I was growing up, if you wanted to find out about a business, you flipped to the back of the phone book in the yellow pages. And if you wanted a plumber, a karate school, or a restaurant, you looked it up and they had the phone number and the address. And the bigger picture that you had, the better your business was, and that's exactly how it is now, except no one looks in the phone book anymore. Maybe they do. I don't know. But this is exactly why companies have social media marketers. There's people whose entire job is just to babysit their social media, put up new interesting things, and try to drive traffic past their website, past their business. And that is kind of what I am trying to do. However, I cannot afford to pay someone, so I have to do it all myself. That is a lot of extra work, but I do try to respond to all the comments on the YouTube videos. You guys know how much time I spend doing this, because in my world, if someone says hello to you, you say hello back. I'm not really sure when it became okay to ignore someone's presence, but if you say something to me, I will respond as long as it's positive and as long as you are not being an idiot. Is that completely overwhelming? Absolutely. But I think if you're gonna build a brand or you're trying to get people to buy into you or your system, then it is very, very important to build some sort of relationship there. I'm rambling, let's go on to the next question. But for marketing, I would say social media in whatever form that you want. I know a lot of people think that you should jump across all platforms, but that is a whole lot to do. So do whatever you're comfortable with, start out there and see how that grows. The bigger footprint that you can get, the more traffic you're gonna have. That is the best form of marketing that has worked for me personally. But thank you for the question. If you do see me in real life, come up and say hi to me. I'm very happy to meet people. Even if I'm weird, trust me, I will catch up fast and we will become friends. All right, next question is a two-part question. The first part is, where am I at? Are there other facilities in your area that offer similar training opportunities? Yes. That is going to be impossible not to have. However, I am a firm believer that there is enough to go around for everybody, so the other gym owners that do strongman training in my area, I'm actually very good friends with, and we try to support each other. If somebody cannot make class schedules, I push them towards the other strongman gyms in the area because I still want them to get better, and I want those people to succeed as well. And I hope they do the same for me. And the second part of the question is, how do you differentiate your gym from others that offer similar formats? Well, when you're gonna open a gym, it's very similar to starting a YouTube channel, and this is advice that I got from Alan Thrall, which was super helpful to me. You need to ask yourself, what am I gonna offer people that they cannot get somewhere else? Since my personal spot was not big enough to handle an open gym type of environment, I decided to do the classes. There are not many strongman gyms out there that offer that. I also, if you guys go back and watch some of my earlier YouTube videos, when I first opened Never State Athletics, there was not enough equipment to handle more than a couple people at a time. The place is empty. But I absolutely knew that I had two things, knowledge and passion. And I had to try to play to those strengths as best possible. And that's another one of the reasons why I went with the class format. Because if I can get people intrigued and interested through the coaching, then they're gonna stay at the gym. I also have a very different training mentality and modality than just about anyone else, even in the strongman world. Yes, a lot of people are switching over to the type of training that I do. It's not my training, it's just training. Nothing's new, it's all been done before, but it's how you package it. I had personally been lifting in the giant set style for the majority of my lifting career, and full body workouts and running around like an idiot and adding conditioning, and a lot of people do not do that. I try to think of it almost like Bruce Lee and when he started Jeet Kune Do. At that time, traditional martial arts were the thing to do. And a lot of people bashed him and a lot of people hated him. A lot of people said that he was an idiot. And now we just say that he was way ahead of the curve. So I took some of my training ideas that had worked for me and I started using them on clients. And then those clients started competing and they started winning and they started doing really great things. And when people would ask them, how did you get so good at this? Or why are you so well conditioned? Or how did you prepare? Most of the time, the answer was always, I just followed the program. Then people would go look at the program and they'd say, wait, this isn't what Eddie Hall does. I'm not gonna do that. Well, what they failed to realize is that they are not Eddie Hall. And Eddie Hall needs to train how Eddie Hall needs to train. I need to train how I need to train, and you need to train how you need to train. All that I did was give people an avenue and give them a template and a path to follow. Those people that stayed on the path and they didn't deviate with training ADD and say, oh, now I'm gonna do 5 through 1, now I'm doing cube, now I'm doing conjugate, now I'm jumping over here, now I'm jumping over there, and not giving anything a real try and not really following that journey for any amount of time. All that I did was stuck bumpers on the sides of that bowling alley so that that ball couldn't roll around, and I just kept them pointing in one direction and people started getting amazing results. So then that started to separate me, and if you can separate yourself from the rest of the pack, then you'll have an audience. It may not be a huge audience, but you do have an audience, but it's gonna start slow. But I'm a firm believer that if people just keep doing what everyone else is doing, whether it be in the gym business or working out, then they're gonna get the same results as everyone else. And right now, currently, most people never see real results. So figure out what your strengths are and start playing to those things, and then figure out what is gonna differentiate you from other gyms. For me personally, it was like the giant sets, the conditioning, the throwing it all together, the adding strongman into traditional lifts, that kind of stuff. And if you want to be like the majority of other commercial gyms and you just want treadmills and hammer strength machines and selectorized machines, then do that. But realize that you are going to be doing virtually the same exact thing. For me personally, I would rather be the renegade. I always follow my own path. I always follow my own vision. And that is one of the things that separates me. People don't want to be told the same exact thing all the time. I don't know if that's true. A lot of people do just want to hear the same exact thing all the time. But if you do have the courage to step out and follow your own vision, your own passion, then you're either gonna fail greatly or you're gonna be shown to be a success years down the road. But either way, at least you stuck to your vision. If you can stick to your vision, that's successful even if the money doesn't follow it. Either be the fool or be the innovator, but be something. Because if you can stick to your guns and you can stick to your integrity and do what you wanted to do and follow your vision, at the end of the day, you will be a success. I hope that helps, but sadly, you're gonna have to figure out what is special about you and accentuate those positives. All right, next question. With the demanding schedule of a gym, how hard is it to plan for personal time or family events when your business schedule is structured around being convenient for others to attend? So if you own a business, you don't really have free time. Pretty much your entire day revolves around you trying to drive that business from the moment you wake up to the moment you go to bed. So I tell people, if you do not love to work, then owning a business is not for you. Maybe 10, 15, 20 years down the line, you'll be able to be the guy that is sitting on a boat in the middle of the Caribbean, being happy and drinking pina coladas and saying, oh, the business takes care of itself. That's something that I don't need to think about anymore. But the majority of people, the majority of business owners work their tails off. You need to think about it like it is in nature. This idea of free time is something that I don't know where it came up with, because even like 200 years ago, so your grandparents, if you look at it like that, from the moment they woke up, they were trying to get food, they had to get firewood, they had to build houses. They were working from the moment the sun rose until the moment the sun went down. There wasn't a ton of free time. It was all about creating and building and trying to better your situation. It's the same way with a business. If you look at wildlife, if you're a gazelle, if from the moment that you wake up, you are not running, a lion's gonna come eat you. And if you're the lion, from the moment that you wake up, if you are not looking for food, you're not gonna eat that day. And whether you're choosing to be the lion or the gazelle, if you are not moving forward, something is chasing you and something is going to catch you. Or I guess if you're the lion, you'd be the chaser. But you're going after something. So if I do have free time, it is because I scheduled it. And the only piece of advice that I can give you is if you're spending time with your family or your friends or doing whatever else you are planning on doing with that free time, then be 100% there. When I'm out with friends or family or doing whatever I'm doing, I'm not checking my phone. I'm not stopping to go to a computer to look at my email. I am 100% there. I need to be present because you're not gonna have as much time with those individuals, but you can make that time that you do spend with them as quality as possible. And it will absolutely seem like if you step away for 1 second, then everything is gonna collapse, but it's just not the case. This is something that I struggle with all of the time, but it can wait. And if it can't wait, it's probably gonna end up being more trouble than it's worth in the long run. So walk away from it. It is not a big deal. You're going to survive. If you're going to spend time with your friends or family, be 100% present and there. I hope that helps. All right, last question, because I need to go lift some weights. At what point did you start taking a salary from your gym? Salary. I haven't, and I won't be able to probably for a very, very long time. Most people who get involved in the gym business do not get involved in it for the money. If I do know successful gym owners, most of them make close to probably around $30,000 a year, not much more than that. People get involved in this industry because of passion and for helping people. Some people make tons of money in the gym industry. I don't know any of them. To this day, I have not made $1 on the gym. All the money either goes to paying off equipment, buying new equipment, or running the business. It's just the reality. But this is also why I recommend that before you make the jump from your full-time gig to opening your own business, that you have at least 2 years worth of living expenses that you will not touch. You will not throw that money towards expenses for the gym. That is money that you live off of. And when I'm talking about living, I'm not talking about driving a Mercedes and eating out at fancy restaurants. I'm talking about what you need to survive. Some businesses become super lucrative over the long run, but within the first couple years, none are. That's why almost everybody within the first year never shows a profit. It's because it's not there. It's all going straight to that startup cost. But this is why when I tell you guys, I am so thankful and so humbled that you guys would buy personalized programs or hit the support button or watch my YouTube videos. I truly mean it, because that is how I eat. That is how this all becomes possible. That is the reason why I can do these YouTube videos, is because of the support of people like you. So when I say thank you, I mean that so honestly. It means more than you know. But who knows, maybe my YouTube channel is gonna take off and there's gonna be 1 million people that join my gym tomorrow. Maybe 5 years down the road, I am able to open up a chain of Never Say It Athletics. You never know what the future's gonna hold, but I can say without regret and without a doubt that this has been one of the best decisions I've ever made in my life, because I took the risk and I put my money where my mouth was and I said I was gonna do it, and I've done it. But in my opinion, that is more important, and I could go out of business tomorrow and I would still consider myself a success, because I followed my dream, I stuck to my vision, and I did what I wanted to do with my life. And if you can go to your deathbed saying that, then you won. So when I say thank you for buying the t-shirts or the programs or watching the YouTube channel or hitting the support button, I truly, truly mean it. And I especially thank you for watching this video. I will see you later in the week, but until I do, go out and do something amazing with your lives, keep working hard, be nice to each other, support each other, and I will catch up with you then.